Okay, guys, welcome to Arcane Duels. I'm Koshade.
And I'm Intangible.
And this is
the finals.
GenCon 2015
Mage Wars Tournament.
Arena. Hope you guys have been enjoying these videos so far and all the interviews. Looks like we are starting on the first round.
On the left side, we have Nick Tinko, otherwise known as Hanma.
And on the right side, we have Tim McCurry.
Yep.
McCurry. Otherwise, on the forums, known as Zot.
Zot.
And they're both playing the Wizard. I believe Tim is playing the Earth Wizard.
Yes, he is. And Nick is playing his the weighted training clothes. So the weighted wizard, as we like to call him.
Weighted water wizard.
Weighted water wizard.
He has so much water. His robes are weighting him down.
I'm gonna take this opportunity
I did that.
You did. I'm gonna take this opportunity to apologize to Tim. In our last video, our first interview video with him, we misspelled his last name.
Tim, I'm sorry.
So I corrected it already, but I just want you to know that you're awesome, and I never meant to offend you by misspelling your name. I didn't actually offend it, but I'm just saying.
He was offended.
He was offended.
No,
I think we missed an R or something.
Sorry about that, Tim. You're a great guy. Can't wait to verse you again next year.
Can't wait to lose by you again.
Yeah, right?
Jeez, man. All right. So anyway, we promise this is going to be a close match, and it is going to be entertaining, and it's going to be a very wizard-y
The mind games of this match is insane. Looks like we have a Stormdrake hide for Tim right now, and it looks like we have Harmonize on Nick.
Yep. I guess he was considering the Gate of Voltari, but when he saw the aggression from Tim, he changed his mind.
You know, a wizard moving one square is very intimidating. It is.
It's just all it takes.
Because it can say a lot of things.
I mean, yeah. I guess the only time you ever feel safe is if he doesn't move, but I don't know. All right, so we're going to see one move, and we're going to see a face-down enchantment. All right, cool.
Both of them don't think aggression's going to... Actually, no, look at this. Tim doesn't think there's going to be aggression against him, but Nick has his Voltaic shield on. He thinks something's about to happen. And it looks like something is going to happen.
All right, well, maybe he wasn't wrong.
And if I remember right, there was... There was a little discussion over if he can use the Wizard's Tower right now or not.
So there's the... Okay, yes. So this was... All right, forewarning, because some people are already talking about it. Basically what happened here is there's a discussion as to whether he could use his action to cast the Wizard's Tower and then immediately use it, because the ruling was that a quick action, our quick cast, says you can only use it immediately before or after a creature's action. And so they assumed anything with a ready token works immediately before or after. Thus, you can't quick cast before and then immediately use the tower.
You know, it's ambiguous in the rules, and, you know, it's just one of those things that I can understand. I can make, that judgment. And if I remember right, Aaron says he's going to change that. So I guess the only difference in that round would have been that Tim probably would have moved Wizard's Tower first and then used his quick cast after that.
And this wasn't actually, it's funny, it's not unfair or anything. This happened to Hanma in the previous rounds.
In one of the other rounds, that's right.
So, the ruling has been pretty even all around.
But, Tim wasn't, he didn't say anything like, oh, it's,
Yeah, he wasn't upset
about
it.
Or anything,
And plus, Hanma did have his Voltaic shield on, so casting something through that Wizard's Tower, maybe not a good idea anyway. All right, so we see the rust come down.
Interesting. Revealing the rust. I'm guessing that looks like they planned and during deployment probably put that rust out there, so Seeking Dispel could have been useless.
So, I don't know if we've actually talked about that strategy yet, that tournament players have started to adapt. It's adopt, rather. You put a face-down enchantment on a creature, and when your opponent thinks, "Oh, I'll put a Seeking Dispel in my hand."
At the end of the action phase during the last quick cast, even if you can, you leave it. You just go, "Here's a quick cast" right before the planning. So that they think about maybe getting a Seeking Dispel out?
Yeah, so they're like, okay, I'll put a Seeking Dispel in my hand to get rid of that enchantment, and then during deployment, before anything can be done, you reveal the enchantment. Now they have a dead Seeking Dispel in their hand.
And it looks like Nick is going to teleport. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, he teleported across the field. And that's really interesting. Now, This is a very good way to battle the Wizard's Tower. Just don't get in range of it.
Yep, be 3 spaces away.
You know, there are no range 3 spells that the tower can take. So if you just get out of the way...
You should be fine.
Yeah, you could be okay.
I mean, even if there is a range 3 spell that it could use, would you really want to spend that much mana on
usually it's so much mana.
Alright, move forward, reveals Hawkeye, and attacks him. He did have his Voltaic Shield prepped, so I don't know if that's going to deal any damage to him.
It's 1 mana versus 2 mana. A little bit of inching, Voltaic Shield costing 2.
There's a lot of poking.
Yeah, that's what that was.
Poking, basically, just a term we like to use to say, alright, I'm just going to cast these small little spells like Seeking Dispel, Dissolve, whatever. Basically setting your opponent up so they can take a lot of damage from you, but not committing to anything until it's time to go for it. And it's generally a good strategy if your opponent's playing very defensive, has a lot of armor, enchantments, things like that. Because if you blow your load and just go all out and do those attack spells, you could be punished by not killing them, and then they heal themselves, and now you're out of luck. So poking. And this match was very pokey.
That's most of this match is like trading certain enchantments. Certain creatures maybe doing a little bit. Tim has a very interesting style.
Yes.
Of waiting for the right initiative and then just unleashing a burst of damage and then waiting again.
Yeah, he is very bursty. As we discussed before, he likes to take that opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
While Nick is more bent on not ever giving you the opportunity. He likes to gain tempo. So here's the thing about Nick's deck versus Tim's right now. Even though the Wizard's Tower is one zone too far, Nick actually has more actions on the field, or Tim has more actions on the field than Nick does. So Jinx wouldn't do him a whole lot of good right now.
Unfortunately, no. You'd have to get something else, like maybe his own Wizard's Tower, to start actually adding up those action tempo cards.
Absolutely. Yep. So right now, just not the way to go.
It's just a really interesting, it looks like they're both sitting there like something needs to happen to change the state because we're both just staring at each other.
Yeah. Angrily shaking our fists.
We're old man wizards.
Man,
the age of the
wizard, wizard just
Wizard's like the oldest mage in the game.
He's ridiculous. Even the apprentice wizard, man, has gray streaks in his hair.
He's probably one of those guys that's like, I'm 150 years old and I'm a human, and it's because I'm magic, he's probably extremely old, is my guess. And there's the Wizard's Tower going down for Nick.
So now Jinx can be worth it. Although he's not out, he doesn't have more actions on the field than Tim. He simply has the same amount of actions.
He has the same amount. And Tim needs to get out of there because that range of that Wizard's Tower is right there.
We apologize if you're seeing the camera shake. There was a little bit of adjustment that needed to happen here.
He's going to fireball him.
Oh, my.
Probably because he's hoping to do a burn or two to just see if it'll stack up. Burns are one of those condition markers that can be really good, or you can get it and then it fizzles and you're like, it's
what a waste.
It's not. A lot of people say they're extremely good and they're the best thing in the game, but I personally think that they're fine. Wow, that's a lot of damage. All crits.
That is very good. Did he get a burn? He got one burn off.
Yep, nice.
That's good. See, so the question here now is should Tim actually take advantage of his Wizard's Tower to knock out the other Wizard's Tower?
Wizard's Tower fights.
Yep.
That's what you see in mirror matchups a lot. Oh, looking like he's going to return the damage. And, of course, initiative is on Nick's side, and he's used both of his markers, so he's going to get at least 2 pushes.
He's going to push him straight through.
Of course, he does have armor on, but the rust was revealed, and he's doing the same thing he did to House.
Luckily for Nick, he's not going to be able to push him through that wall. With the Wizard's Tower. If he jet streams right now, it's just going to push him.
Yeah, he'd have to use force
wall.
push, absolutely.
But another smart play of this is he's preventing Nick from going back into that corner.
So now the Wizard's Tower is in range.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting, very cool.
I mean, I suppose you could just follow it up with this with a boulder or something.
And then it's like getting almost like another push through wall anyway. And he's going to roll them separately. First for the Voltaic Shield to go away, and then does he have armor still? I guess that wasn't a rust on him. Okay. Yeah, okay, there it is, a Rhino Hide. So he has 2 armor now, and that makes the
that attack didn't do
Wall of
anything.
Thorns a little bit. That's why the Wall of Thorns probably isn't like OP or anything.
Actually, I've been looking at the numbers, and I personally feel like the Wall of Thorns trick is, I think it's starting to get obsolete now.
Really? Because there's so much armor around.
There's so much armor. I personally...
He's going to use the Witch Tower.
Sorry. Good. No, it's fine. He's going for that boulder. Just, I'm surprised, actually, I called that out. I wasn't sure if Tim would actually go for it or not. But
Tim looking to lay down the aggression there. Does he get the slam?
And it doesn't look. I mean, it looks like
I saw his hand be like,
maybe it was like one off.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah, I don't think that the Wall of Thorns. Oh no, there is a slam. I don't think the Wall of Thorns is viable nearly as much anymore because it has a range of 2 with the force push, but instead you could use your actions to just double hurl rock.
Oh, the hurl rock. I see what you're saying.
It does. Yeah. It does the same amount of damage, except for armor doesn't impact it nearly as much. Now, granted, the druid should still totally use it because of vine markers, but everybody else, I would just do a hurl rock.
Really showing off how the rust can still have tactics with it, but I think you're right. The chance to daze is probably worth more than, unless you line it up the way Tim does and gets 2 pushes through with no armor. Like the hurl rock is probably the better option.
Yeah, it's less risky, and against really good players.
I think it's the same amount of points too.
Mm-hmm. Against players, not even really good players who expect the trick.
Yeah.
Then that's something I guess you really always have to keep in mind because Tim's playing an Earth Wizard. I would not expect him to force push you through a Wall of Thorns. That's weird. It's just weird.
Earth. Plants? Maybe? I don't know. I'm not going to stretch it that far.
So there is a slam on Nick right now, which means he's not going to be able to use his quick cast to do an attack spell. Not that I think he ever would, but it is one additional option.
All right. Yeah, so I'm curious to see what that slam is going to do. It looks like he's not going to try to push him through the wall again, even with 2 armor. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, he did have the option there. Instead, they both ended up enchanting themselves, and maybe that was a good idea because Nick also put an enchantment on himself, so maybe it was a nullify.
He might not want to get Nick out of range of the tower. He might think he might just get more damage.
I would believe it. I also feel like the force, the Wall of Thorns is kind of like a one-time trick, as your opponent's like, never again.
Not letting it happen ever again. Does not happen. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Tim putting down the hurl boulder in the tower was a really smart move, and it looks like he's going to try to get rid of that armor and then immediately try to force push him through again, which I think is the proper choice if you want to keep using that wall. I mean, we saw the last match. Tim just crushed House by just eliminating the armor and just running it through.
Absolutely, and
it looks like he does get Elkrode. Was it 2?
I think 2 were placed on. I can't really... I saw 2 movements of a placement, so I'm going to assume that the crow did come down. So combining that with the rust, I think Nick's back to 0 armor again.
And he is going to push him through, so it looks like Voltaic Shield is off because of the acid ball. So let's see if he rolls it all at once, we know he has 0 armor.
I stand corrected about the one-time use of the wall.
Man, Tim is so good at using those walls. And it looks like he does have 0 armor. I see a lot of blanks there. Oh, but I see some 2s. Oh, nope. Yep, there looks like it probably did
pretty good.
It was above average.
It was a good enough roll. Enough to be like, yeah, that was worth it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you almost actually wonder right now, like, oh man, how does Nick claw his way out of this situation? Because that's pretty harsh.
If I remember right, Nick goes down to 1 hit point left.
I think he does.
And he makes his way back.
Mm-hmm.
And just a really series of, like, Tim unfortunately not being able to finish off his opponent. And, Nick being a very strong player, just seizing the moment and just, making his way back.
I've seen some matches with some really good players who were brought to the brink of death, and because of that one roll, they came back.
Yeah,
and
it kind of when the matches really matter like this, just assuming that you lost because you took a lot of damage isn't always the right way to play this game.
Absolutely, it's there have been amazing moments I've seen where people like they're like almost dead and Nick has like a regrowth on themselves and your opponent's like that's gonna do any good.
Like 6
and
rounds later,
they're alive. And there's no feasible way of killing them anymore.
Man, all Tim needs. I wonder how much damage actually Nick has right now. I don't actually know.
Seems to be a good amount.
He's probably around like
into the 20s.
Yeah,
almost.
probably like low 20s, later 10s. Higher 10s.
This is one of those moments where Nick could be looking at it going, oh man, if I don't play very carefully
now.
It's probably why he's taking his
He has 2 actions. He might be thinking, is that a nullify on Tim's Mage? Because he might have a Jinx or something. What do?
Nullifying the Jinx to make sure that their action wasn't worth your action.
Jeez, right? You gain 1 mana, I guess, that way.
Until
you reveal Jinx.
In a wizard battle, that 1 mana generally doesn't mean anything.
They're a fountain of mana. It looks like he is going to take care of that nullify.
And follows it up with a quick cast. What's he doing here?
Oh, he's not dazed anymore. Is he gonna?
Is it an attack spell? Is he?
Is he
a
does.
chance where he heals?
Is he gonna Arcane Zap?
Seems to be a lot of dice there.
I think he has a Hawkeye on himself, so. Oh nope, that is a lot more damage than Hawkeye. I guess it's a Hurl Rock.
6, yeah, Hurl Rock would do.
Oh, he takes out the wall of thorns. Smart choice. That probably did a lot of saving for him. And it looks like, is that an acid ball? I think
that is an acid ball.
Great spell.
I wonder if it's going to go for
very
the tower
necessary
or the mage.
spell for this game right now. Is the acid ball. Looks like he's going for the
Both
mage.
of these players like to roll the damage first and then the effect token.
That's really interesting.
But I mean, technically, they should be rolled at the same time.
Yeah.
I guess it ultimately doesn't matter.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter as long as you realize that the damage dice are not affected by the effect token or the other way around. That could happen.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so it looks like he has 2 corrodes as well. So
all right, so it looks like we're in this round 6, I believe, and it looks like Nick is going to have the initiative, enchanting Tim's wizard, and we all know how much Nick loves those jinxes.
Yep. Now that he might feel that he has the tempo, or at least hopefully he's hoping that he can prevent Nick from Tim from finishing.
Revealing that jinx, and it looks like it does work.
Alright, so now both players out of actions. Unfortunately, Tim is within range of the wizard's tower, while Nick is not.
So unfortunate. That's a big deal, too.
Looks like there's a question on... Oh, nope. Getting rid of...
Looks like a jinx? Oh, it's a Seeking Dispel, I think.
That makes sense. He's going to go ahead and take advantage of that wizard's tower. Yes, he is.
Acid Ball all day. Great card.
Did he also have a Rhino Hide on him? Yeah, it looks like he has a Rhino Hide. So they both had 4 armor, basically from the same spells.
And so basically right now, Tim needs to figure out how he can deal out the damage, because he has a Wizard's Tower that's sitting there, doing nothing, while Nick's Wizard's Tower is just pummeling Tim.
It's making it really hard for Tim to actually be able to push Nick into that zone, because he keeps getting jinxed.
And I will note that this is a game where burn has really affected Tim. It has been going on Tim for a long time right now. And I really, I think burn is one of those conditions that is really good, but other times it's really bad.
Hey, what was the longest amount of time you've ever had a burn token on you? How many rounds?
On me?
Yeah.
I don't know, probably like 4 rounds, probably.
I once had 1 burn on me for 9 rounds against Puddinhead.
Oh, Puddinhead.
Just 1 burn
without token. Adramalik, I assume. Adramalick's touch.
Yeah, didn't like playing the Adramalik. Yeah, didn't need the curse though. I think he might have actually had that curse on me for a while.
And he just was waiting.
And just never needed to reveal it.
I actually the other day used an Ignite against someone that used Sunfire Element on themselves, and it stayed with him for like 5 rounds, and he was just like, well, this amulet is...
I guess that was a perfect counter.
It was pretty hilarious. And it looks like Tim is going to get out of range of that Wizard's Tower of Nick's, and it looks like he is going to cast a Hurl Boulder at Nick again, dealing a ton of damage.
I think this is actually right now where Nick is on the brink of death. Like,
I'm pretty sure
close.
we can't see the health, but I'm pretty sure Nick has either like 3 or 1 health remaining.
Something
if
like
I
that.
remember
Yeah,
right.
he was. Oh man, it was so close.
It was tense.
We were watching this, eyes wide open, going, "No way!"
And I think I remember someone asking me even. They were like, "Hey, is this match almost over?" Because I think they were like Nick's friend or something, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I think it'll be over soon." Because he had like 2 health left.
She was just sitting there like watching.
And then I felt so bad because it was like an hour later. Oh, and another hurl boulder.
Okay, so maybe this was the one. I think. Oh no, is this the one that we were all like blown away by?
Yeah, because I remember it. Nick is pretty much dead.
There it is. Look at that.
And,
all those blanks.
And this roll, statistically, I think, should have killed him. But it just barely didn't.
Yeah, he rolled terribly there.
Yeah,
he did like 3 damage.
It was just a terrible, unfortunate roll.
It was intense,
and it was one of those like, well, that's how this game works.
Yeah,
when you
that's the problem with attack dice. When you
it's
put
high
that
risk,
much investment in it,
high risk, high reward, and that's what happens.
I think that's actually why I don't get angry anymore when my attack spells roll bad, because I knew what I was getting into.
Yeah, exactly.
It's when I cast a creature and it attacks like 5 times and it just always is bad.
Or something that has a defense and it never defends.
Oh yeah, this was a heal. This was I think a heal right here.
Yeah, and
he didn't even heal that much, and we were like, oh my.
So what's happening right now is Nick is really on the back foot, and he's like, I need to recover. Otherwise, this is over. So we're in this match right now where both players are thinking, how am I going... Like, Tim is basically thinking...
How can I finish this?
It's not my initiative. And what happens is Tim plays the game, so when it's Nick's initiative, he sets it up so that when it's Tim's initiative, he can dish out the damage.
He's very good at a 2-turn opportunity.
Learning how to play that initiative game is advanced.
Yeah,
it's a very advanced
technique.
idea. And we'll probably see Tim in this really play in a very careful way. Granted, he just used a lot of mana, but
he has a lot of mana left on the tower too.
Yeah, it looks like that tower hasn't been used in 3 turns. And both towers just looking at each other like, are we gonna hit each other?
No. More important targets? Okay. At this point, I think he's not getting rid of Nick's tower, or trying to, because he knows Nick has another one.
Yeah, and if I remember right, Nick had 2 towers, and Tim had 3 towers. And
if it came down to a tower match,
did come down to it,
I think we say a second heal right here. He's going to take advantage of the quick cast.
That's very smart. This is the proper way.
Oh yeah, otherwise
to play this game right now.
He would be gone if we went for that.
And
better roll
looks
here.
Like I see a lot of 2s. It looks like above. All those clumped up there is 2s. So I mean, he looks like he rolled like 2 above statistical, which that's like 10 health.
Yep.
That's pretty damn good.
That right there turns this game around.
Yep, that's where the slowly evening out becomes, and then Nick. I don't know what spoil for you guys. I'm sure you guys have heard, but I won't say who wins.
We have said like in every video who wins this. His post is on the forum. So when Nick wins, it got really close. Both of them at one point were very close to death and came back, and it's really amazing to watch in that regard, because that's like that echelon that we all wish we were at when it comes to playing.
Absolutely, yeah. And it looks like Tim is going to reveal a geyser to get rid of his burn. Very smart way to use that tower, even when it's out of range. Just saying, you know what, you used all your actions.
And you have the mana lying around.
Yeah, I might as well just get rid of this burn because it's been on for like 4 rounds now.
At this point, it's that poking again. He realizes that it could go away next turn, but it hasn't so far.
So. And with Nick just healing all that health, he's probably going, oh, this is about to be a lot longer. Because if Tim was just going to kill him next round or something...
Yeah, it would have been a different story. He's going to rely on a Hurl Rock here because he needs to conserve his mana and play a longer game aggression. Which does not turn out to be such a great roll, but it was enough to keep the damage rolling. However, that does put him in range of Nick's Wizard's Tower, so you actually have to wonder,
interesting
was
move,
that worth it? Yeah.
When Tim right now isn't hurting that much, and I think he has like a 10 or 15 health gap between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably thinking I can outpace this and try to win in a longer game.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
By just trying to dish out the damage right now. And if he can keep Nick forcing himself to use heal spells, then that is a good way to kind of play that out. Of course, Tim is using every attack spell, and
yeah, I mean, really, he does start to sap himself dry a little bit. I actually wonder if taking out that Wizard's Tower on Tim's half would have thwarted Nick's plans, because...
I think it would have.
Because this whole time Nick's been getting attacks off with that Wizard's Tower. And yeah, he'd be able to cast another one, but the both of them right now, like, heal, yeah, it's efficient, but it's still not cheap. After 2 heals, he might have not had the mana to bring back that second Wizard's Tower. That might have been an opportunity. I've actually started thinking about maybe what is the best way to think about your turn. He's going to move back. Is he going to use a minor heal? That's a minor heal.
All right.
Minor heal on himself.
Minor heal on himself. Great move. Let's see how he does. And it looks like he gets...
Well, he's going to heal. He's going to heal through all that armor. Yeah, I started wondering if, like, at the beginning of your turn, when you're about to plan, if you should just look at your opponent's mana supply.
Oh, that's a huge deal. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, just, like, be like, all right, what can they do? This is what I should prepare for, because I think a lot of people just get sucked into, what can I cast?
Yeah, if they have base channel as their entire mana supply, they're probably not going to be able to use both their actions for spells and something else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or revealing like 3 or 4 enchantments.
Quick guess coming down on Tim's side. He's going to attach a Tanglevine to the Gargoyle Sentry. Wait.
Because you can't intercept when you're
Is the Gargoyle Sentry guarding right now?
Nope.
Then...
It's not allowed. That's unfortunate, but, you know.
But, however, Tanglevine is a really, really good way to deal with intercept creatures.
Yeah, because when you're Tanglevined, you're not actually allowed to intercept.
Yep. Wait. You lose your guard? No, you don't lose your guard.
No, you lose the ability to intercept, and your defenses, of course, Gargoyle Sentry doesn't have
one.
You
get -2 to your defense.
2.
Yeah.
And I believe you can't guard for somebody else, but you like have a counter check.
Yeah, you still have the guard, but it doesn't do, and it's kind of like being a pest, I guess.
Yeah, that's a good way of looking at it, actually.
Unless it's Academy. Academy, if you're a pest, just can't guard.
Academy has very interesting rules, and I've been loving this game a lot, Academy. And,
it's been a lot of fun.
You know, it's kind of like, you know, a lot of people love playing Mage Wars because it's not Magic the Gathering, but it uses the same idea. And Academy just brings it closer towards like Magic the Gathering,
streamlined kind of feel.
You know, like it's easier to pick up. I've been really digging that. Like the rules are very simple too.
Yeah, I've been wondering like if I should just meet up with somebody that I want to get into a game and see how they feel about it. Like I've
played a few games. You know?
Yeah, most of the people I've test played Academy with already played Mage Wars.
Yeah.
So there wasn't a real way of like seeing from
they're
my
saying
perspective
like, oh, this is so different. It's
yeah.
like, you know, something like that. Which I mean, I guys haven't played Academy. It's basically one zone.
Yeah.
As opposed to, you know, the normal map, which is a 4x3.
Yep. I mean, that brings it closer to feeling like that Magic the Gathering. I do really like the 2-turn setup that they have in Academy.
I love that. It is so cool.
Awesome. Gives you time to plan and set up before your opponent can affect you. And that gives you all the time in the world to cast what you need.
What I really like about Academy is they just really interact in a way that, like right now you can see that Tim and Nick are basically one zone apart. Like, these sorts of interactions, you get very good at knowing from Academy. Granted, Academy's one zone, but, like, you sort of trade off, like, when to dispel, when to dissolve, you know, when to use attack spells in Academy all the time.
It does teach you the basics that you really need, yeah.
Granted, you know, it doesn't teach you, like, you know, how to move and stuff, but that really
that's
is
a little
advanced.
more advanced.
You know, a lot of people see that that's like too much to take in at once. So, you know,
I guess and that's kind of moving back to it, that's really what we're seeing right here.
Absolutely.
Movement and positioning is so important right now. I mean, it's because of movement that Tim's Wizard's Tower hasn't been able to do very much at all.
Yeah, I mean, we said it before, but if you want to beat that Wizard's Tower, just get out of range. Like, Nick would have lost if he was in range of that Wizard's Tower this whole time.
Oh, absolutely. With a geyser that he wasted on casting on his mage, he could have done that same thing to Nick, and I think that would have been enough to push him to death.
Absolutely.
Oh, more corrodes. Aye.
And that probably takes care of the Rhino Head on him as well.
Mm-hmm.
And looks like Tim's going to get the initiative. So this is probably going to be a major damage time, I'm guessing, or he's going to start to retreat.
Looks like players are maybe done with planning.
I think once those double heals came out, maybe Tim should have moved back and just said, okay, let's regroup.
Prepared for the long game himself.
Like, I know Tim has I think we saw an Iron Golem in another game or something like that. Like,
yeah, he does have some amount of creature. I think, though, that Nick has a few more creatures because he does have the Gate to Voltari, so he needs creatures to support it.
I think actually Nick has 4 blue gremlins, if I remember right.
They're good creatures. I don't blame him for that.
I love that creature. That creature does not die, and it just always does damage.
I know it doesn't die. They dodge way more than they should, I feel.
It has like a 7-up, but no, it has a much better thing than 7-up, it feels like.
No, it has a 9-up, dude.
Does it really 9-up?
Yeah, it's a 9-up. It has
it feels like a 7-up.
It does feel like a 7-up. I'll agree with that. There's another enchantment gone.
And we're seeing these enchantment trade-offs happen.
Poking.
And, here's Tim dealing the mass aggression on his initiative.
Yeah, that's the second Hurl Rock this round, I think.
Man, I wonder how many Hurl Rocks. Maybe he has 6 of them. I wonder.
I don't blame him if he does. It is the most efficient attack spell in the game
as an Earth Wizard?
Yeah.
Good choice. And it looks like a Fireball, I think that is.
Looks like another Fireball. Or it could be a Flame Blast. Maybe he's planning on getting rid of that Tanglevine. Oh, wait, no.
Nope.
Tanglevine can't be targeted by ranged attacks.
I'm wondering if that's exactly
he just doesn't do it. He was like, I'm going to do this Flame Blast on a Tanglevine that I can't target. Never mind.
I kind of wish they'd let you target it, but you have to hit the creature too. It's a giant,
when this creature takes damage, so too does Tanglevine.
I mean, it's just a bunch of fire against a Tanglevine.
It is true. How do you, I mean, even with a melee attack, how do you, very precisely attack the Tanglevine and not the creature?
I guess you're cutting it at the root. That's what I would do.
I guess it makes sense.
I feel like if there are ever, goblin grunts, hitting down a Tanglevine, they must just, it must be the most scary feeling ever. Because a bunch of grunts be like, we're going to cut you out.
Don't worry, we'll get you. You're like, no, I think I'll just stay here.
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
I'm good, guys. I'm good.
Spending the Gargoyle's action to attack the Tanglevine?
And it looks like he is going to attack that. And wow.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Well done.
Max damage. Whoa.
All right, Tanglevine is just 2 away.
Man. Nice job, Gargoyle. I would rely on you to take out a Tanglevine any day. Get those grunts away.
All right, so we're moving on to the next round, right?
And Tim's Wizard's Tower. Man, just so much mana.
Stacking up the mana there. He really is just saving it to finish off Nick, and Nick's just not letting it happen.
I'm really curious. I wonder if in the interview with Tim, he talks about that Wizard's Tower at all.
What attack did he just use on Tim there?
Looks like
he
Hurl Rock, maybe? Hurl Boulder.
Was it the Hurl Boulder?
Oh, wow.
And
this is where Tim starts taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, Nick sees the opportunity and is like, all right, now that I'm safe, it's time to take this back on you.
It's why you need to get out of it. And he deals so many 2s.
That is so good.
Against 0 armor.
And he was poking him with acid balls the past 2 turns, so he was setting up for the attack.
Absolutely. It's... in every single book, I put at least 1 healing wand. And I think Tim uses the life spring. And those types of spells are so important for making those acid balls just null.
Absolutely. I mean, Tim swears by that well.
Hey man,
And,
I saw him use it against Sharkbait when he had 3 life left or 2 life or something, and he lives, and he ended up winning, and it's like, what?
I thought that was like the worst card in the game. Like 2 years ago or whatever when it came out. It's like 5 or something.
It's like 1 and 2. Is it 1 and 1 or 1 and 2? Regardless, it's either 4 or 6 for Tim, and that's ridiculous.
And it is. The reason I don't like it is using the full action, but man, has it paid off for Tim?
I guess the only other way to get rid of Corrode right now would be to use the Healing Wand, which is 1 action.
That's true.
It's a quick cast, but you get healing out of it as well. So I guess it's like getting like a...
once Raincloud comes out, but...
which is a Domination,
then,
which is like in October, I think they said it's coming out. So it is coming out.
So it'll be out for the next tournament, and then we may see a game changer there, but until then...
Yeah, I wonder if Tim is going to change his mind and just use the Raincloud instead.
I don't know if he'll pass up on that healing. He loves that healing.
Speaking about Academy, it has the 3 dice, which is equal to one of the spells in Academy.
Oh, that's very true. Yeah, it is. And granted, it's a full action, but at least you're not spending constant mana on it.
Yeah, and you can get rid of
with the effect of the condition. Yeah, it's really nice. I'm wondering if we're gonna see a resurgence of that card if the spring is gonna be or the well or whatever.
I kind of understand where Tim's coming from with that.
So are we done with that round? Throwing more mana on his.
It looks like we're in reset,
and we'll move on to the next round. Looks like we are back in. He's gonna use his quick cast to do nothing as a Jinx is revealed.
Bam! Jinx coming into play, and this is why Nick is so good with those Jinxes.
Yep.
And it is a great spell, and that is how you keep your advantage.
Absolutely, and Tim at this point knows it's happening.
Yeah.
He's like, oh no, I guess I'll just try to Arcane Zap.
Looks like there's another one on him now as well.
Alright, I'm going to use his full action to move back. I think this is where we start seeing that well we were talking about.
Out of range of the Wizard's Tower?
No.
Getting out of range there? Dispelling? What's he going after? The Rhino Hide?
Looks like.
Interesting. Oh, I wonder if he still has 2 armor.
So at this point...
Oh, because he got rid of the Rust.
That makes sense.
Now he got rid of the Rhino Hide.
At this point, Nick has a regrowth on him, a regrowth belt. So
Mage Bane.
Ooh.
Oh no, that was Jinx. Never mind.
All right.
I was like, is that a Mage Bane? That's not a Mage Bane. That would have been a really interesting choice.
And what he did there is he jinxed him, waited for him to cast spell,
and
just used his quick cast to jinx him again.
Yep.
So he set it up by final quick cast phase of last round.
I wonder if that's what Tim was expecting, because otherwise he would have waited for his quick cast or waited for his main action to use his quick cast first and then combo it with the jinx.
That would make a lot of sense. So we see another fireball coming out. Which one is this? Is this coming from the mage at the other
yeah,
mage?
It has to. Unless he's hitting the Wizard's Tower, I guess, but... Wow, look at all those crits.
That's good.
Amazing.
Good thing he has the Voltaic shield ready for it.
Yeah, no kidding. I actually don't think he even has armor, so it doesn't really matter. But
looks like he only has 1 corrode on, and I think that means he has like 1 armor. What? This is the thing where he could not keep the die on the mat for the life of him.
It's like, I don't want to do a burn. I don't want to do it.
You can't make me. You can't make me.
And then it does a burn. Gotta love it.
So this is where he runs the gargoyle at Tim, and I actually wasn't sure if I agreed with that choice.
Anything that gets in range of that Wizard's Tower is so dangerous. And that Wizard's Tower has been sitting there for 6 or 7 rounds, just like gaining more and more mana.
Alright, so Nick's going to move 1 space back, and he's going to guard with that sentry. That right there telegraphs his move. He's basically saying, alright, I'm going to move my wizard forward, and I'm
What's he going to do?
Move into the gargoyle zone.
And there is the Life Wellspring. Tim...
Immediately taking his full action afterward.
You have taken a card that I thought was not good, and made it awesome.
I think he just healed like 5 or 6, and just pays the burn token, just gone. Man,
Tim... I am super impressed with that. I might consider putting him in my books now.
Alright, getting rid of the armor there. So, just both players just looking at each other's armor going, no, I don't
want this.
I don't want you to have that.
Stop doing this.
Stop it. I want to kill you.
So now,
you're making it too hard for me.
So now that Nick has come out of the corner and he's in range of this Wizard's Tower. I wonder what his plan is. If he's just going to keep jinxing. Because basically you can take care of that intercept. Well, I mean, you can't take care of it. But you can always Arcane Zap the Mage and say, you going to intercept? You know?
Yeah, that's true. A Force Push. Or
Force Push.
A Surging Wave.
Oh, wow,
my favorite one.
Not
My favorite cards. Oh, no. But he is going straight for the life well, which is clever. I think he recognizes that Tim has had success with that card.
Mm-hmm.
Being in the finals, I would look at that too and go, "That's normally a bad card." But if you're facing somebody who got to the finals and you're using a card that you normally don't see,
this is a tactic.
Maybe you should deal with it.
Just take it out. That water has to taste really good in that Life Wellspring.
No joke.
Yeah, to heal you 3 damage. Dang. Or I wonder if they No, it says you drink from it.
yeah, it says you spend your action to drink.
Yeah, it's not like you're putting the water on your wounds.
You're not just jumping in and flame token's gone.
Like putting your head in the water, like blah, blah, blah. That's how I imagine if taking a full action. You have to
Let's see a decent roll there.
And is he gonna get the second drink off? That is the big question, and it is Tim's initiative, so
that's
both of them have used their quick cast.
Nick was planning on taking the Voltaric Shield off of the Mage, but it was clear that he wanted to target the Lifewell Spring.
You know, if he would have just taken out that spring, he would have had another action of dealing damage, and plus he has no armor.
He went
he has definitely armor. He has the Dragon Scale Helper.
Yeah, he does.
Is he going to Wizard's Tower? Ooh, he's thinking carefully about this. This is a big moment for Tim. You can tell just by the way he's like...
The option is, does he drink from the well? Or does he go aggressive and try to...
And it looks like he's going to drink.
Probably a better choice.
Yeah, I think he got one.
I think he got 3. Something like that, which is good.
He's going to Arcane Zap, I guess, and... Yeah, Arcane Zapping the well. Taking
it has no armor, I guess, so that's gone.
Oh, it should have armor. I wonder what he did. Huh.
I don't know what happened there. Huh.
Maybe it has 1 armor. I can't imagine a whale has a lot of armor.
I couldn't either.
No. Then again, it's magical.
So he's just going to guard with the gargoyle again. And that will be the round, and we will move on to the next one.
He's going to keep that shield on. Okay, looks like he's going to be rolling 2 dice for something. Taking out that shield.
That was a...
acid ball or something?
Yeah, it must be.
Yeah,
yep, there's acid ball.
Taking out that dragon scale.
Every time an armor is cast, it will be obviated.
Going in the tournament, taking at least 4 acid balls, I'm guessing, is a standard.
It would make a lot of sense. I mean, with it being the best way to take out...
Yeah, armor and stuff. And there's no good... As I was explaining earlier, there's not a lot of good ways of dealing with corrodes.
Mm-hmm.
With Domination coming out, hopefully the Rain Cloud will start seeing more use.
Yeah, I could see a lot of people running that. I almost fear ever playing a aggressive Warlock with Rain Cloud in the game. I was actually joking. I was talking to Charmina, I think it was a couple days ago, and I said, I find it ironic that the easiest way to take out a Rain Cloud efficiently is Lightning Bolt.
Lightning bolting a Rain Cloud.
Yep.
Because it's ethereal, and yeah, exactly. I would love to see more cards run that have the ethereal type because the meta starts to change towards more ethereal cards.
And so this is a common tactic here. He replaced the Dragon Skill Halberg with the Storm Drake.
Oh, that's a brilliant move.
And that means that for a brief moment he had no armor, so the corrodes wash off of him.
They literally drop, yeah.
And then he throws the new set of armor on.
Another way that I see that people do that, it's not as efficient, but it's cheaper on the mana cost, is they just cast Disable on their own equipment. So it takes it off, so you have 0 armor, drop the corrodes, and then it just puts it back on.
That is really smart. And that would be a lot cheaper, too.
It's cheaper mana, but you lose the card as opposed to replacing the armor. So,
that is fair.
It's an interesting trade-off.
I suppose, let's see, it goes when during upkeep or when your creature activates? During upkeep, right?
What
the disable marker.
The disable marker, yeah, during upkeep. So if you cast at the very end, and you're like,
then you just get rid of it. Fine, no problem. That's pretty smart.
It's a very interesting use for disable. As opposed to what we saw early in this tournament, Shadow.
We used a lot of them.
Using Disable on the Beastmaster's staff multiple times.
Absolutely.
So that the staff just never gets used for many rounds.
He had the actions to just sit back and wait. Okay,
Yeah.
so at this point, you'll notice that the rounds are just going by very quickly because both of them have got to this point where they're starting to exhaust.
They're out of gas. Healing,
yeah. And they both have the regrowth belt on, and they're just waiting to finish each other off.
This is going to be a match of healing now, because they both know they're gonna go to time. They both know they can't kill the other mage, and in my opinion, that last round, Tim probably should have moved back one, and then taken the more defensive stance. But Hanma took the initiative and moved back, and so now it's one of those. I don't think there's anything else we're going to be able to do.
Yeah, that's very true. At this point, both of them know that the time call is coming soon.
Yeah.
I think this is the second to last round, and so they both know, oh man, okay, I have to prepare and set up for the final wave. And so
getting as much healing as possible.
Yeah, I think Hanma has a little bit more life than Tim right now, so Tim's actually afraid of sitting back because he needs to get one good attack off.
It was so close. And they both have regrowth belt on, and Tim's sitting there with his Wizard's Tower, and there's a gargoyle there, and there needs to be an interaction there. Otherwise, that gargoyle could just get some free damage.
Absolutely. I feel like the reason that Tim's not moving forward is because he's afraid of Nick's Wizard's Tower, but if you notice, Tim has plenty enough mana on his own Wizard's Tower to actually cast a boulder and hope to take out the enemy Wizard's Tower.
I mean, he could have cast Acid Ball and then cast just a Hurl Boulder. I don't know how much mana he had left over a lot of these matches, but I know there were some Jinxes
had enough to do that. Yeah.
I know there were some Jinxes rounds, and that could have been just his secondary plan, I guess. I am very curious to see that. As an alternative, one of them could have let the tower die, so that they could plant another tower that's in range that's threatening.
And spare.
You know what I mean?
And immediately just get to attack with it.
It looks like that Gargoyle Sentry is going to be moving up one to protect, and this is all about protection. We're seeing the Mage one come out. You know that Mage one's going to have healing, and he's going to use it right away. And I think I'm curious why Tim isn't moving to get into a safe position here. And it looks like he's not going to heal that much with that spell, but he is staying put within threatening range. I'm really curious what his thoughts are for not moving away. The
enemy wizard does threaten him right now, and now that he's out of actions,
he could dissolve it. And he probably had a dissolve in his hand because of that regrowth belt. And Hugin comes down. Interesting.
Hugin comes down.
And the Hugin can do a lot of things, and especially if you're still within range of a dissolve from that wizard, Hugin can just make sure that happens. And I'm really curious why Tim stood there, and I would love to talk to him about his action there.
This was a high pressure situation. At any point, both of them probably could look back on our match and go, I don't know why I did that, but at the same time,
there was a lot of thinking, I'm sure, of I need to be within threatening range because I still could deal a damage, or I don't know if we're in that time where we need to heal up. There's a lot of I bet that's what's going on.
Absolutely, yeah.
They don't know if they should threaten or heal.
It's this right here. Board positioning, I feel, is what wins the game. In this specific match, because at this point Tim's not able to use his tower, while on the occasion Nick has been able to, and
that set a standard.
Yeah, and then the match ends actually basically off of positioning.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's one reason this game is set apart.
No one actually dies.
I like to feel like these wizards actually went at it and were just wailing on each other. They were just trying, both of them were just exhausted, and one of them goes to shake the other guy's hand. And he's like, "Yeah, I won, right?" And the other guy's like, "Yeah,
see you next week."
See you next week.
This is a match of sparring. They're so old that they've just been these two wizards
going at it.
And the Nullify coming off, and are we going to see the Dissolve? The Dissolve does go down. Again, I think if we would have just moved one down, that Dissolve would not have happened. That minor heal would have still been around.
That's true.
But, It was a tense situation, and in my opinion, I think what Tim needs to do is he just needs to figure out a way to deal the most damage possible, because I don't think he's going to win that healing game.
Yeah, it's very difficult with the Gargoyle. If he had a correct teleport, and I don't think that Hanma has a Nullify on himself right now. If he had a right teleport at this moment,
absolutely.
he could take advantage of that tower and still have his quick cast left over to do more.
A teleport, a force push, anything.
An elemental wand comes on the field. He's going to try to blast him himself.
Interesting.
I'm wondering if both of them were just really scarce on teleports. Like, they didn't value it.
I mean, it is 2 spellbook points. It adds up.
But for a wizard, it's only 2.
Yeah,
Everybody else is fine paying 4 for each one. They'll put like 2 or 3 in their deck.
I would put a minimum of 2 in every wizard book.
Oh, and 3, wizard, absolutely. It's basically
3 most likely.
For being trained in Arcane, teleport is kind of a staple in my opinion, and I don't know.
Well, I mean, Tim
have differing
Tim
opinions.
had 2 force pushes because of that Wall of Thorns, so I wonder if he thought 3 spells. I don't know if we've even seen a teleport out of Tim.
No, we haven't seen one on either way so far.
Wouldn't that be weird if Tim had 0?
You know,
be really unique.
I know for a fact he has at least 1.
Does he have at least 1? Okay.
Yes. And it just kind of comes online a little too late. He puts it in, and I'm not saying that he would have won the game had it gone the other way around.
Yeah.
It's just an alternate way of looking at how things could have gone.
I don't know how much mana Tim has, but he could theoretically spend 12 mana right now and just teleport Nick onto his side and just say, you're not going to be able to guard, and I'm going to be able to hit you at least 2 rounds with this tower.
Absolutely. And, granted, Nick would respond, but that would give him at least 1 action.
And it looks like he's going to retreat into the other corner, getting out of completely threatening range. And this is probably going to be... it. I mean, Nick is so far in that, out of range of that elemental wand.
Yep. I believe this is the final round. So we looked at it, we're like, I betcha he has this in his hand. And sure enough, he revealed his hand after the game, and we were right. And it's very simple. He had a teleport and a hurl boulder, and he had a boulder on the tower.
And he was hoping to...
he's hoping to get closer to the wizard to blast it, but there's complications coming up.
Yep.
And basically, Hanma has 2 or 3 more hit points than Tim right now.
Yep.
And he just seals the deal.
Yep.
And basically
with a teleport.
with the teleport. No, he ran 2. I think at this point, he's gonna cast a face down enchantment on himself. I don't remember exactly.
I think it's either a nullify or a Or I think it's a nullify.
I'm pretty positive.
Pretty sure he nullifies himself, so he can't be teleported.
We were questioning it, but I think I overheard him later being like, "Yeah, I didn't nullify myself."
Yeah,
and that pretty much meant that there was literally no way that Tim could deal any points of damage.
I guess Tim could have double moved and then just 2-spaced Horror Bouldered him with that elemental one. I don't know what he has on his wand. That's the thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a boulder. There is the hope there, but you'll find out in a second that there's no way Tim can do that before it's too late.
Yep. Okay, so it looks like Tim is really deliberating a lot of things right now. Yeah. And look at all that mana on that Wizard's Tower. That's crazy.
Every point of mana means that is one turn. It never got used.
One turn that Wizard's Tower was just a useless conjuration on the field,
that did
not doing anything.
I mean, I guess you could say at that point it made up for its cost in still not being used.
And still, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those things where, like, the way you play around Wizard's Tower is this match.
It is literally
it's this
a good
match.
Point. Positioning really made a huge difference.
Yeah, this is a tense moment. Alright, guys, so it looks like he's going to double move the gargoyle, and then check this out. Defend.
So the gargoyle has this, he could have optionally done that also by teleporting the gargoyle 2 spaces over, and then he would have still had his guard. However, in this regard, it only cost him like 2 mana to cast defend. So.
And 1 spell point.
And 1.
Yeah. And that's pretty much sealing the deal. There's no chance.
Well, right now, he doesn't have the nullify on him yet, I think.
I guess...
Does he?
I guess right now what could happen is if it was Tim's turn, he could double move. No, he can't teleport, that's right.
So he's going to dispel the Hawkeye. At this point, he's looking at it going, every die of damage matters.
Yeah, and it does.
And he gets rid of that Hawkeye. All I feel if Hugin had a force push on him right there, that would have pretty much also sealed the deal.
Force push would have been great. Teleport would have also been a good one. Force hold.
So at this point,
I don't know if he can
is there a face down enchantment on Nick?
No, there's not.
So here is.
But he can't. So he could double. No, you can't double move and cast teleport and then use Wizard's Tower.
That was the calling. That was the calling.
Yeah.
Because right now, what Tim wants to do is, he wants to move 2 spaces forward, running, use his quick action to teleport, and then the Wizard's Tower will be able to blow him up. But the calling was already made.
Yep. But he can't do that.
And that's pretty much it.
And sure Tim's sitting there like, well, I can't use this wand now, so that's it.
And however, that would allow him to attack Nick, but Nick still would have a full action and a Wizard's Tower to attack with. So, the question there
he'd
would
be out of range of the other Wizard's Tower, unless he has a teleport in his hand too.
If Tim ran 2 spaces forward and teleported Nick away, then Nick would still be able to shoot Tim with his Wizard's Tower.
No, he could just move 2 to the right there. And then be out of range of Nick's Wizard's Tower still.
But he would have to... Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's fair. So, in that regard, meh.
I mean, he pretty much gets a free hurl boulder on that tower.
Yep.
You know? And he's looking at that like, I wish I could use you. And this is pretty much it.
This is where Tim is saying, I can't do this.
Literally, I can't do anything. I have lost. That's it. And again, I think it was like 2 or 3 life difference. Tim says, that's how it is. Everything's good. And he was just like, cool. That's game. Wonderful game, you know?
I guess the way Tim could have turned this around, if the ruling was clear in his head and he knew that he had 2 teleports in his deck, Tim could have quick cast himself 2 spaces forward to teleport.
Interesting.
Use a full action to teleport Nick closer to the Wizard's Tower, and then use the Wizard's Tower. So if he had 2 teleports,
that would have been the way to do it.
That would have been the way to pull it off.
A great spell.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just saying, that's it. But it was such a close match, man.
By the way, time was called like halfway through this round, so they knew that this was going to be the last round.
Just waiting for that. Waiting for the handshake.
Waiting for the handshake.
I hope they do it.
All right, so with this, Tim moves back a space, and that's about all he's got.
He can't do anything else. That's it. He's going to use his... looks like Nick's going to use his action. Probably put a nullify on himself. Oh, he's going to heal himself.
Oh.
All right.
Yep.
That's it.
And that pretty much seals it, so...
Yep.
Boom.
Done.
So,
what a great match.
First time, I feel that it has just come down to...
There's the handshake.
There's
wonderful
the handshake.
game. Everyone was happy about this game.
Yep. But great job on the players. It was a fantastic match to watch.
And if you guys want to see the interviews, the post interviews, I believe Intangible did the interview with Tim, and I did the
interview with Nick.
Yeah. And you can see their thoughts on the match, and you can really explore the awesome little mind games in that.
Yeah, they both knew each other's deck pretty well.
2 champions right there. Awesome game.
Well done. Well, we hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next year.
See you next year, GenCon 2016. Check out our other videos. We are previewing Mage Academy right now.
Mm-hmm.
And please hit the subscribe button.
Please hit the subscribe button. You know, if we're not recording the tournament next year, we can still play it.
Ooh. Then we can record our own games during the tournament. Probably won't be playing next year. Maybe.
Too stressful, man.